he sees that in you and he wants more. But if you're not those things that you mentioned, how? So that's why I say a woman's job is to be these things, not to perform these things. Right now, and what we hear on the internet is performative femininity. That's what we see. I started this whole femininity conversation on a larger scale in 2014-15 when I went viral on World Star Hip Hop. That's where the conversation started. And then they've taken it and then turned it into something that I had not anticipated, because the wisdom, the spirituality is not there to carry this conversation to go deeper. So now it's anytime, if and now from here on out, when you pay attention, anytime you hear about femininity, pay attention to what they're equating it to. They always include the man in it. You seldomly hear people talk about femininity that excludes a man. When you say, how can she help a man? What did I say? She has to help herself. It has nothing to do with you. Her presence, a woman's presence can heal you. But how can she do that if she hasn't taken the time to figure out why she's the way she is, why she thinks the way she is? Everything we've been taught to be as a woman was given to us by men. Whether it's been government, religion. Well, God gave that to them. Well, God is considered a he. So everything is given to us through the perspective of a man. The idea of modesty comes from men. The woman in the Bible that was getting ready to be stoned for committing adultery. Well, who the heck was she with? Why didn't they go after him too? Who was the married one? We don't know, right? So women, their whole identity was created by men to serve men, not realizing they have their own autonomy and we gift ourselves to men. But women would rather learn how to gift themselves to a man than to gift themselves to themselves. I always say a woman who is broke does not function in her femininity. Broke women do not function in their femininity because femininity is creative, and you use 85% of your femininity and 15% of your masculinity to execute the ideas you got while you were sitting still and resting in your femininity. Why do you think men go to the strip club to have business meetings? You think it's for some TNA? No, that creative money, sexual, sensual energy is everywhere. They can go there and get wings only and some drinks, have a multi-million-dollar business meeting in the strip club. Don't give a girl $1 because that feminine creative energy is there. That's why I say no woman should be broke, because if you tap into those four things before you try to help a man, your femininity can pay you in two ways. It's either you're going to get that download while you are resting, while you are cultivating your life, while you are being what you need to be to you first, and you're going to get an idea, and like I said, you'll be able to execute that. Or the feminine experience that you bring to a man's life, it makes him want to take care of you. So you should not ever have an issue with money if you're doing one of those two things. I prefer the one where he take care of me, child. because I know what he's getting in exchange, and I value my feminine exchange and feminine experience the same way you guys value your money, because I'm the magic, I'm the battery in your back. And that level you want to go to, you ain't going there without me. And the moment I remove my magic from you, you don't know what to do. So imagine that if women understood the value that we had to you, men would act differently, because it's like, wait a minute, my life is not the same with her in it, and it's definitely not the same, with her out of it. But if all you're offering as a woman is your looks and your vagina, and I can cook and clean, and I got a degree, and I have my own car, and I got good credit, and I own my own house, that doesn't do anything to the very thing that they're trying to accomplish. And it's the same thing for men. If you want a woman that you consider high value, you have to come with more than money and protection.
All right. What's going on, Nate? How you doing? Welcome to the panel. Hank, you just
Hey
saw.
everybody.
How you doing? You just saw the clip. There's also a claim that if a woman understood their value and power they hold, men would act differently. Do you agree with this? Can women's self-awareness change how men behave in relationships?
I mean, yeah, it could, but most of them are not going to do that because they look at femininity as like it's something like it's weak. like it's a weakness instead of a power. You know, a lot of them don't realize how much power that they would have or they can have if they rested in their femininity more than they rested in their masculinity. But they, instead of that, they operate just the opposite. They rather rest in their masculinity, and they look down upon femininity like it's a STD or something. You know what I'm saying? They scatter like roaches when the lights come on. They don't want to have nothing to do with that. That's even when it's beneficial to them, 90% of the time. But they rather go to that masculine side of it on a regular basis until when you see some of these hyenas about to get arrested, all of a sudden they get real feminine then. All of a sudden they get real soft then. All of a sudden they get real dainty then.
I can't
Too late
relate with
now.
you. I can't relate with
You came with
you.
that masculinity. The reason why you got you about to get them silver bracelets put on your ass. But now that them bracelets on you, now you're like, oh well, you know, I didn't mean it like that, officer. No, man. If you came like that from the jump, you would have given all the benefits that you need to reap. Instead, you choose the masculinity and to be aggressive and overbearing and intolerable. And so now man don't want to deal with you. He don't even want to see you. He rather be without than deal with you.
Okay. Ms. Nay, I got a question for you. What do you think about this statement? Can a woman truly embody her femininity if she's struggling financially? Or do you believe there's more to it than that?
I believe it's more to it than that. I feel like a lot of people just operate from hurt places. I think if she's not healed and who she is as a person, especially as far as like childhood and things of that sort, and maybe that could even result to why she's dealing with certain financial hardships. But I think you have to know who you are as a person before anything.
Okay. This clip also suggests women haven't been taught to serve themselves first. Do you think that this is the root of some modern relationship issues? Should women focus more on themselves before giving to a man?
Oh yes, absolutely. I think that's why a lot of relationships end. Period. I think a lot of women get so wrapped up in trying to be who that man wants her to be that as soon as like things go left, she just feels as though okay, well now I'm gonna flip all this shit over because I did this for you. I. When really you weren't paying attention to you.
All right, then I ask you the same question that I just asked Brother Hink here. Do you agree with this? Can women's self-awareness change how men behave in relationships?
Um, yeah, I can agree. I definitely can agree. I feel like women need to. I'm not gonna say they need to, but again, going back to my point, I think you have to know who you are. Like you have to be self-aware before anything, and that's any type of relationship, whether it's a relationship with your sister, your man, your mom, your dad. Like you have to know who you are, and you have to be firm in who you are before you try and go to anybody else's table.
I'll give my take on it. I know she mentioned something about if she's broke, that women that are broke, they can't tap into their femininity. I disagree. I don't think money has anything to do with if a woman is going to be feminine or not. I had this a little bit of this discussion earlier. I think that a lot of women are not taught how to be feminine. They don't know what it looks like. And it has to do a lot with their upbringing. Sometimes trauma plays a role as well as on if they're going to truly be themselves. A lot of people are just showing up as representatives because they can't be who they are because they've been conditioned to have their guards up or to be somebody because they're in protection mode. So I think it's very difficult for people to really relax and be themselves and to focus on what's going on in real time because they're concerned about what's happened in past time. We're going to go ahead and unpack this again. If you haven't hit that like button, also make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit that like button.
I have something to say to that, Lapeef.
Mhm.
I think it's more of a survival tactic. I think it's more of I got hurt really bad, and now I feel like I have to be masculine because I didn't really have anyone to protect me. And now I don't know how to disassociate myself with surviving something that I'm no longer existing in, to learning how to be feminine again. Because I do see that too, especially when you go into trauma. You know, you can go through something, it could change the way you think significantly. But if we aren't striving to overcome that, we're going to be like literally indulged in that every day. And we start to develop bad habits or certain mentalities and ways of thinking and doing things that are toxic in nature, because we didn't understand how to not only unpack that, but um how to deal with it internally. So what happens is when you go through something traumatic, or we talk about trauma, it changes who you are. And it you have two options. It can either change you for the better, or it can change you for the worst. And I also think that a lot of it has to also do with some of the influencers and the people that we look up to and what they say too. Because not all of it has to do with, there are certain circumstances where people feel like I need to be masculine because I just feel like I need to protect myself. And then there are also people that look up to certain women that preach masculinity and flaunts it as if it's a flex. And then they start losing themselves in the process because they see the attention and all of the stuff these people are getting. And then you throw in the money in there. And so I think there's plenty of factors as to why some women choose masculinity or femininity. But to Hink's point, you are absolutely correct. If we did like push what femininity really looks like and how it could be beneficial to you, if we showed how beautiful that was and the outcome of that, I think people would probably have a different take or look on it. But we don't. We show it as if it's weak, or as it's something that's something not to be proud of. And you should be proud of being a woman. There's nothing more beautiful than women. I'm a girl's girl. I love women. Not like like that, but like I meant like, you know what I mean, like Nye, like I that's my girl, you know what I mean. So I just feel like
Yes, I love this challenge.
I think it's just more of, I think it's more of like, hey, like there is nothing wrong with who you are, understanding who you are and understanding how to embrace being a feminine. We don't need, there are certain times where we might have to step up the plate and we always have to be strong, but why can't being feminine be strong as well? Why does it have to be deemed as masculine? Why can't women be strong and be you know just as whatever the case may be, but be feminine at the same time? Perseus, knock it off.
Well,
Sorry,
the
my dog's
reason why,
letting me out.
because you just sit there and said earlier, like you said, being masculine is a flex. What is a flex about saying that a woman is masculine? What is a flex? What is the benefit in that? Where do you see the benefits in a woman being masculine? Where do you see the benefit of a woman saying that's a flex for a woman to be masculine? Nothing about that said is a flex. You should never want to be masculine like a man. Why do you want to be like a man? Do you realize how hard it is to be a man, but you want to be masculine like one? Why would you want to take on that trait? I don't understand that at all.
I think a lot of women also were taught that trait before they were taught to be feminine. Like, for example, if you're raised in a single mother household, you're seeing your mom do everything, so you're seeing her pick up all of those hats. So in your mind, it's like, okay, when I get my own household, I have to do X, Y, and Z. Even though, say, you might have a man, it might be hard for you to let go of that because that's what you grew up seeing. So
And that's what we call trauma, capital T. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that it's a lot of things that, everybody goes through, is the traumatic experiences without realizing it. And they take those experiences and utilize it in their day-to-day lives. And it's like, it's hard for them to see it because they've been living life through a different perspective, than most people.